Good morning, my dear friends. Let me ask you something very simple. When was the last time you truly learned something new? Not for an exam, not for a job, but for yourself. Let me begin with a simple question. When you wake up every morning, what is the first thing you feed, your body or your mind? Most of us are very careful about what we eat. We check calories, taste, freshness. But when it comes to the mind, we allow anything and everything to enter. News full of fear, conversations full of complaints, thoughts full of worries. And then we wonder why we feel restless. Education is not just about books, degrees, or certificates. Real education is about becoming a better human being every single day. Life does not ask us how many degrees we have. Life asks us how we behave when things don't go our way. Many people believe learning stops once formal education ends. But the truth is, if learning stops, growth stops. And if growth stops, life becomes repetitive and boring. The same reactions, the same anger, the same mistakes, just on different days. Every day, life is teaching us something. When someone criticizes you, life is teaching patience. When things don't work out, life is teaching acceptance. When you fail, life is teaching humility. But these lessons are only useful if we are willing to learn from them. Think about this. A sponge absorbs water wherever it is placed. In the same way, an open mind absorbs wisdom from everywhere. A closed mind, however educated, remains empty of understanding. Educating yourself daily does not mean spending hours studying. Even 10 minutes of conscious learning can transform your thinking. Reading a few meaningful lines, reflecting on your actions, or simply observing your reactions can teach you more than an entire lecture. True education makes us calm, not arrogant. It makes us simple, not complicated. If learning is making you feel superior to others, then something has gone wrong. Knowledge should soften the heart, not harden it. We often try to change the world, but we forget to change ourselves. And the most powerful change happens silently, inside us. When you educate yourself, you don't just improve your skills, you improve your character. Remember, the mind is like a garden. If you don't plant good seeds, weeds will grow automatically. Daily learning is like watering the right plants, values, clarity, gratitude, and purpose. Ask yourself at the end of each day, what did I learn today? Not what did I earn? Learning stays with you, even when everything else is taken away. Success without wisdom creates stress. Achievement without understanding creates emptiness. But when you educate yourself every day, success becomes peaceful and growth becomes meaningful. So be a student for life. Learn from books, learn from people, learn from silence, and learn from your own mistakes. Because the day you stop learning is the day you stop living fully. Keep learning, keep growing, and let your education make you kinder, calmer, and wiser. Oh, let me ask you something very gently. Have you ever noticed that two people can face the same situation? Yet one grows wiser while the other grows bitter. The difference is not intelligence, luck, or background. The difference is learning. One chooses to learn from life, the other chooses to complain about life. We often think education is something we finish early in life. We study, we graduate, and then we move on. But life smiles at this idea, because life itself is the greatest teacher, and its classes never end. Every day it hands us a new lesson, sometimes wrapped in success, sometimes hidden inside failure. When we stop educating ourselves, we start living on autopilot. We react instead of responding. We repeat the same mistakes and expect different results. And slowly, without realizing it, we stop growing from the inside. Educating yourself every day does not require big effort. It requires intention. A few minutes of reflection can change the quality of your entire day. When you reflect, You convert experience into wisdom. Without reflection, experience is just noise. Look at a river. It keeps moving, learning its path around rocks, adjusting to obstacles, flowing forward. If it stops moving, it becomes stagnant. The human mind is the same. Continuous learning keeps it fresh, flexible, and alive. True education teaches us how to handle success with humility and failure with dignity. It teaches us that winning is not always about defeating others. Sometimes it is about defeating our own ego, anger, and impatience. We spend so much time upgrading our phones, our cars, our homes. But how often do we upgrade our thoughts? A mind running on outdated beliefs creates unnecessary suffering. Daily learning updates the mind and brings clarity. Learning also teaches us empathy. When we understand more, we judge less. We realize that everyone is fighting a battle we cannot see. Knowledge expands our awareness, and awareness softens our heart. Many people chase motivation, but motivation comes and goes. Education, however, stays. When you educate yourself, you don't depend on external inspiration. You develop inner stability. You become your own guide. Every mistake you make is a lesson written in bold letters. But the lesson only works if you read it carefully. Otherwise, life repeats the same chapter again and again until understanding arrives. Remember, intelligence may impress people, but wisdom transforms lives. And wisdom grows slowly, day by day, through conscious learning. At the end of the day, life will not ask how busy you were. It will ask how aware you were. Did you learn something that made you calmer, kinder, more patient? So choose to be a lifelong student. Learn from books, learn from silence, learn from pain, and learn from joy. Because when you educate yourself every day, life itself becomes meaningful, peaceful, and deeply fulfilling. Let us begin by understanding one simple truth. Life is constantly speaking to us. The question is not whether life is teaching, but whether we are listening. Many people move through their days surrounded by lessons, yet they collect very little wisdom, not because they are incapable, but because they are distracted. We live in a world full of information, yet starving for understanding. We scroll endlessly, consume endlessly, but reflect very little. Education is not about how much you know. It is about how deeply you understand what you know. And that depth comes only when learning becomes a daily habit. When we educate ourselves every day, we slowly shift from reacting to responding. A reactive mind is impulsive, emotional, and restless. A responsive mind is calm, thoughtful, and aware. This inner shift does not happen overnight. It happens through consistent learning and self-observation. Think about a mirror. It does not judge, it simply reflects. Daily learning turns the mind into a mirror. It allows us to see our weaknesses without self-hate and our strengths without arrogance. This balance is the foundation of inner growth. Many people are busy improving their resumes, but neglect improving their behavior. Yet, when life becomes challenging, it is not our resume that supports us, it's our character. Character is shaped quietly, through small daily lessons that we choose to absorb. Educating yourself does not always mean adding something new. Sometimes it means unlearning, letting go of old grudges, limiting beliefs, and unnecessary fears is also a form of education. A light mind travels faster than a heavy one. Observe how nature teaches effortlessly. The sun rises without noise. The tree grows without announcement. Their progress is silent but powerful. Similarly, daily self-education may not show instant results, but over time it transforms the way you think, speak, and live. We often ask, why is life unfair to me? But a wiser question is, What is life trying to teach me right now? When this question becomes natural, even difficulties become meaningful. Learning also builds resilience. A person who learns from pain does not break easily. They bend, adapt, and grow stronger. Without learning, pain turns into bitterness. With learning, pain turns into wisdom. True education makes us more human. It teaches us to pause before speaking, to understand before judging, and to forgive before resenting. These are not skills taught in textbooks, yet they are essential for a peaceful life. At the end of each day, take a moment of silence and ask yourself, what did today teach me? This simple habit can change your life more than any grand plan. Because the goal of education is not just success outside, but serenity inside. And when you educate yourself every day, life stops feeling like a burden and starts feeling like a beautiful journey. Let us pause for a moment and reflect. In our rush to reach somewhere, we often forget to grow along the way. We chase results, rewards, and recognition, but we rarely ask ourselves a deeper question. Am I becoming wiser with each passing day, or just older? Life gives us two choices every morning. We can wake up and repeat yesterday, or we can wake up and learn something new. Repeating yesterday feels comfortable, but learning something new feels meaningful. Comfort keeps us where we are. Learning moves us forward. Many people believe that education is only about collecting information, but information without application creates confusion. Real education simplifies life. It helps us understand what truly matters and what can be peacefully ignored. When we educate ourselves daily, we develop clarity. Clarity about our priorities, our reactions, and our values. Without clarity, even success can feel overwhelming. With clarity, even challenges feel manageable. Consider this: when a child learns to walk, they fall many times, but they don't stop trying. They observe, adjust, and try again. That is learning in its purest form. As adults, we fall too, emotionally, mentally, sometimes morally. But instead of learning, we often criticize ourselves or blame others. Daily learning teaches us to rise with awareness instead of regret. Educating yourself every day also means becoming conscious of your inner world. What thoughts dominate your mind? What emotions control your actions? Awareness itself is education. When you become aware, half the problem is already solved. We often say we don't have time to learn. But we always have time to worry, to overthink, to complain. The truth is, we make time for what we value. When learning becomes a value, time appears naturally. True learning makes us gentle. It reduces the need to prove ourselves. When knowledge matures into wisdom, ego dissolves. We realize that silence can be more powerful than arguments, and listening can be more impactful than speaking. Life becomes lighter when we learn regularly. We stop carrying unnecessary emotional baggage. We stop taking everything personally. Learning teaches us perspective, the ability to see situations from a higher viewpoint. Every experience, pleasant or painful, comes with a message. The educated mind reads that message instead of resisting it. Resistance creates suffering. Learning creates peace. At the end of the day, success is not about how much you achieved, but how much you understood. Did you understand yourself a little better today? Did you handle a situation with more patience than before? If the answer is yes, then you are progressing in the right direction. So commit to educating yourself every day, not just to improve your mind, but to refine your heart. Because when learning becomes a daily practice, life stops being a struggle and starts becoming a lesson worth appreciating. Let us start with a gentle reminder. Life is not in a hurry, but we often are. We rush through days, weeks, and years, believing that once we reach a certain point, everything will make sense. But meaning does not arrive at a destination. It grows through daily awareness and learning. Many people wait for the right time to learn, when life becomes calm, when responsibilities reduce, when the mind feels free. But life rarely becomes quiet on its own. We create inner silence through understanding, and understanding comes from continuous learning. Educating yourself every day is not about becoming perfect. It is about becoming conscious. Conscious of your words, your choices, and your reactions. An unconscious life repeats patterns. A conscious life evolves beyond them. We often measure progress by external achievements, but the most powerful growth happens inside. When you become less reactive, more patient, and more accepting, you are progressing, even if the world cannot see it. Think about this. When a lamp is lit, it does not fight darkness. Darkness disappears naturally. In the same way, when knowledge enters the mind, confusion fades. When wisdom enters the heart, fear reduces. Learning daily also teaches us humility. The more we learn, the more we realize how little we truly know. This realization does not weaken us, it grounds us. A grounded person is stable in success and resilient in failure. We sometimes believe happiness comes from controlling situations. But education teaches us a higher truth. Peace comes from understanding situations. Control exhausts the mind. Understanding frees it. Every day offers simple lessons if we slow down enough to notice. A delayed plan teaches patience. A disagreement teaches empathy. A mistake teaches responsibility. These lessons are free, but they require attention. When learning becomes part of daily life, we stop blaming circumstances and start improving ourselves. This shift is subtle but powerful. The world may not change immediately, but our experience of the world changes completely. True education aligns thought, speech, and action. It creates integrity. You begin to live what you understand, and understand what you live. This alignment brings a deep sense of satisfaction that no external success can replace. Before sleeping each night, pause for a moment and reflect. Ask yourself, what did today teach me? This one question can turn ordinary days into meaningful steps of growth. Because in the end, life does not reward speed. It rewards depth. And when you educate yourself every day, life becomes less about surviving and more about understanding. Keep learning, keep reflecting, and allow wisdom to shape your journey gently and steadily. Whoa, thank you. Stay humble, stay curious, and never stop learning.